7. Good outside the switch. Doncic goes on.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope you guys are doing well. If you end up enjoying this video, be free to give me a thumbs up and click that subscribe button for more content. As of right now, I want to thank everyone that is a member. You guys are all greatly appreciated, and I really appreciate every single one of you. This channel just literally isn't possible without you guys. Literally everyone has their own special input on this channel. Just thank you so much. This channel, because of you guys that are so loyal, just sticking with me. Like, if it wasn't for you guys, there would be literally no motivation to continue to make content, because you guys are the motivation. Obviously basketball is the motivation, but so are you guys. But anyway, today I'm actually going to be talking about Kawhi Leonard. As of right now, the Clippers are down 2-1, and maybe they're starting to build some momentum. I thought that was a very crucial game for the Dallas Mavericks to even really not take their feet off the gas. They got off to a really good start, being up 30-18 in last night's matchup of Game 3, Dallas Mavericks versus the LA Clippers, but it looks like the Clippers might have some momentum now. But if they do go on to lose in the first round, what will Kawhi Leonard do? And I'm really going to be answering that question in today's video, or I'm really just going to be thinking throughout, what are the opportunities, or what decision can he possibly make when it comes to this upcoming offseason, because he is going to be a free agent. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and let's get right into the video, y'all. As you guys know, Kawhi Leonard is one of the best players in basketball, literally top 10 in my opinion. He could score from anywhere out there on the court. He could score from mid-range territory, really picking his spots. From the post, of course, hitting fadeaway jumpers, shooting it from the outside in a bunch of different ways, off the dribble, catch and shoot, taking it to the rack. His defense is off the charts. He could distribute the basketball, but we know he's one of the most versatile defenders, and we know he's one of the most versatile scorers, which is crazy because he wasn't really known as this big time scorer at the beginning of his career with the San Antonio Spurs. He did go on to win Finals MVP, and then this whole thing went on. Of course, we know the whole situation behind the scenes. He wasn't happy. He actually ended up being traded to the Toronto Raptors. DeMar DeRozan did a lot for the city of Toronto, so a lot of Raptors fans were afraid to see him go. But at the time when he was traded to the Toronto Raptors, there was only 1 year left on his contract, so it was literally if Kawhi Leonard doesn't win a championship, or he doesn't bring them to the finals and get over that hump that DeMar DeRozan and Dwayne Casey weren't able to do. They would go to the Eastern Conference Finals, but they were never able to get over that hump and go to the NBA Finals. And in 1 year, with a brand new coach of Nick Nurse and Kawhi Leonard with Siakam, other contributing pieces, they actually went on to go and win the NBA championship. Kawhi Leonard on that playoff run was actually known for hitting that really big time shot up against the Philadelphia 76ers. Let's just say there was a couple Philly moments when it came to some doinks in basketball and football. One was a good moment and one was a bad moment. But yeah, Kawhi Leonard was someone that really stepped up big time. So was a Kyle Lowry. So was a Fred VanVleet. Serge Ibaka was amazing. So actually, he ended up leaving Toronto. That was not the situation he really wanted to go to. The weather, a lot of people were really questioning if he really wanted to play in Toronto, so he actually ended up leaving in the offseason. Some people thought he was going to go to the Los Angeles Lakers, same thing with a Paul George, or some people thought Paul George was going to go there, but he actually ended up teaming up with Paul George, who some people thought was going to go to the other LA team of the Lakers, but no, Paul George decided that this was actually in the works for a while, of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George teaming up. So yes, the plan was to go out there and win an NBA championship, and that's where Kawhi Leonard's from. On the low, he was actually a Clippers fan this entire time, so Paul George and Kawhi Leonard team up, trying to win a championship, kind of this rivalry up against Anthony Davis and LeBron James. There's a lot of expectations going out there winning a championship with the depth. A lot of people liked the pieces they had, but they actually ended up being disappointing, as Paul George didn't really step up big time when it came to the playoffs, as he ended up losing in the second round of the Western Conference playoffs in the semifinals, not even making it to the Western Conference Finals, which was kind of embarrassing because the Nuggets were a good team, but they were an up-and-coming team that some people thought it was going to take them a couple years to really compete and really get over that edge and then go to the Western Conference Finals, but they really ended up falling short. Paul George did not step up. Some people were disappointed in Kawhi Leonard. So yes, they did not reach expectations because people thought championship or bust. And after that season of really blowing a 3-1 lead to the Denver Nuggets and not moving on to the Western Conference Finals to play the Lakers, a lot of fans wanted to see, they actually went on to fire Doc Rivers. I thought that was too early in my opinion. Yes, he was coaching the Clippers for a good amount of time, but that was his first time coaching up a Kawhi Leonard and a Paul George. So I really questioned that move. And they had Montrezl Harrell at the time, so they thought they needed some size. They ended up adding a Serge Ibaka in the offseason, and Montrezl Harrell ended up going to the other LA team of the Los Angeles Lakers. He started off the season very strong. He's kind of started to tail off, but they thought they needed some size when it came to down low. So they ended up actually acquiring Serge Ibaka this offseason, and he's kind of been disappointing. And disappointing not in his play on the court, but not staying healthy, and he actually went down in the NBA playoffs and did not play last night. Maybe they are building some momentum, but some people thought this was going to be an easy series and the Clippers were just going to go on to beat the Dallas Mavericks. There was some speculation that the Clippers literally were out there tanking on purpose just so that they could play the Mavericks and really advance to the next round with not much competition, but that has not been the case, as Tyronn Lue, brand new coach, has not been good. We know Tyronn Lue is not the greatest of coach in the world when it comes to holding guys accountable and making adjustments. He definitely has not made adjustments when it comes to guarding Luka Doncic. And I actually think it's been really blown out of proportion when it comes to Paul George in the playoffs. It's just because Paul George was absolutely awful when it came to the NBA bubble in the playoffs last year that people think he was awful this year. They actually really had a high chance of winning game 1, but Paul George hit his shots when it mattered most. Kawhi Leonard actually missed a free throw down the stretch, and Marcus Morris missed 2 big-time free throws down the stretch in Game 1. In Game 2, it was kind of like an absolute embarrassment, which gets me into my next reason here. There's literally no one running the ship. There is absolutely no leadership. Kawhi Leonard, he may be a good lead for example guy when it comes to his work ethic, but there's no one that's vocal. There's no one that's really stepping up. You could say Marcus Morris, but he kind of is a hothead and he doesn't know how to really rein in his personality or really rein in his anger or frustration. Paul George is someone that constantly makes excuses in media. Kawhi is quiet, like I said. He's not someone that's really going to demand at least what we've seen from him when it comes to the social media or media in general. When we see him out there on the court, he's not going to say, give me this player. There's no true leader. Who is really leading the ship? Who really is doing that? I honestly think Tyronn Lue hasn't been doing that, Kawhi Leonard or Paul George, when it comes to wake up, let's go out there and win this series. So now we move on to this. Kawhi Leonard's going to be a free agent this offseason if the LA Clippers go on to not reach expectations, because to me that's still not reaching the expectations if they don't get past the second round of the playoffs, because it is literally championship or bust. Some people are saying if they lose in the first round or they lose in the second round, they should absolutely blow it up, which is crazy because kind of not too long ago, if you really think about it, I guess it's been a long time ago technically, but it feels like it was just yesterday when they blew up Lob City with Chris Paul being there, Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan. They're all gone now and it's a brand new era and they still can't get it done. So yes, you take a look at free agency. Is Kawhi Leonard going to be very frustrated and go to a brand new organization? And another thing to actually bring up, when you watch the Clippers, again, getting back into that leadership side of things, it just looks like everyone's standing around. It just looks like no one's vocal, or maybe there is some people being vocal out there like a Marcus Morris, but it just looks like there's just no structure out there. It really looks like whatever Tyronn Lue is preaching is not really executing when it comes out on the basketball court. Maybe they're a good regular season team. When it comes to executing in these big moments, making that extra pass, really playing as a team, are they going to execute when it comes to the playoffs? Because it literally looks like the whole team is in shambles right now. Now, maybe getting into some potential teams he may leave for. Would I leave if I was Kawhi Leonard? No, because he's from LA. If he really wants to win a championship, he'll overcome the adversity and really ask for the players he wants. But I don't see Kawhi Leonard doing that. But I do think he's going to stay in LA. But it's going to be very hard to do that for Kawhi Leonard if this team goes on to lose in the first round or the second round, because that shows there's way more problems than a Paul George. And I think there's more problems than a Paul George in my opinion. There's no consistency. Marcus Morris has kind of been a disappointment. Serge Ibaka going down with injuries. Rondo, of course, brings that passing ability, but is he what you really expected? Not me, in my opinion. Keep in mind, I'm a Knicks fan looking in. I am not a Clippers fan. But yes, is Kawhi Leonard going to be frustrated with the situation and maybe go to a team like the Miami Heat? You can say the Heat have been disappointing or the Milwaukee Bucks are just that good as a team, but you also take a look at the Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler being out most of the season, you could say he wasn't the same this season, but Tyler Hero really taking a huge step back. Defenses are really starting to adjust to a Duncan Robinson. A Bam Adebayo's kind of been disappointing this season. But yes, let me know down below, what are your thoughts on like the Miami Heat? Do you still think they're moving in the right direction, or do you think they kind of just added Jimmy Butler way too quick? But I actually do think it is the right situation if Kawhi Leonard wants to leave. It's a warm environment. I heard he didn't like Toronto just because it was cold, but this is a perfect organization to really go to. We're talking about a no-nonsense run organization. Pat Riley is all about winning. They're not about tanking. And you have a chance to have these two nonsense players of a Kawhi Leonard and Jimmy Butler. They're all no nonsense, let's go to work and try to win games. Or he could take the easy approach and join the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors could be like, we still have Curry, one of the best players in the league. We literally almost made the playoffs with Curry and nothing. Klay Thompson's coming back. We lost Kevin Durant, but you could be that other superstar. I honestly would lose respect for Kawhi Leonard if he did go on to do that, or the bias coming out of me. The New York Knicks look like they're building this right culture, but is Julius Randle not stepping up in the playoffs going to be a huge part of Kawhi Leonard not joining us, or just because we're the Knicks and we can't have anything? But we have tons of cap space and it looks like we're moving in the right direction, and we need someone that could take pressure off of Julius Randle. Let me know down below your whole thoughts on this situation, and as always guys, have a humble day or night. Peace out, y'all.